Hello, and welcome to episode 21 of Deadly Effigy. I'm Luke Logau, and today, I would like to talk a little bit about getting out of your own dang way and letting art happen. I'm starting with some blue and some brown here, mixed with some floating medium, just as a base coat that I will then scrub through with a brush to start the painting. So as usual, I didn't have a whole lot in mind for this painting. I had a comment a while back suggesting that I paint a lich, which, if you're not familiar, is a kind of dead sorcerer character keeping himself alive with evil magic or something along those lines. Anyway, I thought, well, I haven't painted a skull on the channel yet, so that's a good idea. I like skulls. Also, a friend suggested a while back that I paint a hooded character, so I thought that fit in well as well. And that is my jumping off point, and this is my interpretation of that. You may get a sense of why I'm not a huge fan of taking commissions. It's not because I don't like other people's ideas. It's because for me to truly enjoy what I'm painting, I have to be free to go in whatever direction the painting tells me to go. And that's why I love starting with this technique. It's really painting at the speed of thought. I don't think there's any faster way, honestly. And you'll see that I make a few decisions here that I end up changing later, and how I deal with that is still quite fast. The skull here for reference. Physical reference is great. His name is Fortunato. If you know that reference, leave it in the comments, and also, you and I can be friends, I guess. Like I said, physical reference is great. Picture reference is pretty great too. AI reference is lame. Sorry, I'm allergic to lameness. Seriously, anything AI can do, you can dig up on your own with like an extra 5 to 10 minutes of searching. And then you can be proud that you didn't third-hand rip off any artist. With stuff like this, I like to paint a general idea of the pose from my mind, then grab old Fortunato and get a few more realistic details. By the way, there are 22 bones in the human skull. But this guy isn't just a skull, of course, he's a lich. So more like a partially mummified corpse, in my mind anyway. Not fully mummified, I'd say like somewhere between well-cooked steak and a flattened toad you might find next to a highway. It's very important to get these things right, because the glisten on a flattened toad is different from the dull sheen of a... Oh yeah, here's where I get the idea for another little dude to add in here. So on the subject at hand, letting the art happen. This is kind of where it really begins. I treat art sort of like, I guess it's a bit like doing improv with myself. I've never taken an improv class, but I have friends who do it, and I may have to ask them about it. But if I'm right, I think one of the golden rules is, if not the golden rule, is yes and, which means you take what's there and you add to it. One person says, "We're naked on a cruise ship," and you say, "Yes, and the reason. And the reason is because we had to burn our clothes to stay warm. That's basically what I'm doing here. I let the painting tell me what's next. Of course, my twisted little mind goes in the direction it tends to go because I'm a horror and fantasy fan. That's what my freaky little brain does. It's like a Rorschach test for myself. And being my own therapist, I'm a little bit concerned. There's something wrong with this guy. But your own freaky little fiendish little creepy brains will probably make up a totally different thing. So it's your job to get them down in the painting before they manifest into a split personality or something. That's honestly how I feel sometimes. Like these are my demons and I'm exercising myself each time I paint. And as you can see, one demon wasn't enough. I have added, well, why don't you tell me how many faces you see in the comments? There's 1 or 2 or 3 slightly hidden ones, maybe. That's also why so much of this is sped up in time-lapse. I've been trying to avoid that lately, but this is a big painting, or bigger than I'm used to, really. Also, here I've gone through with some black to further establish some of the forms of these little boglin dudes.
You killed me. You killed me.
No. We're not doing this again, Boglin. Alright? You can thank the toy company Mattel for creating you out of a type of rubber that rots after 20 years and smells like motor oil. Be gone, Spectre. Be gone. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes, the black that I added in to get some more of the shadows and establish some of the forms. This is why, yes, I paint with a lot of dark colors, especially at the beginning of the painting. But this is why I don't use black. I use brown and blue to make a kind of grayish, just overall dark tone. It's a very on the low end medium tone, but it's not black, so I always have some wiggle room in there. I like to be able to make things darker if I have to, and I can always lighten them. So onward and upward to glazing. I've done several videos on my glazing process. Pretty much every video I do has a small section on it, so go watch them all, please. Alright, I'll go over it again. But, yeah, I'm using a mixture of neon acrylic paints from Folk Art. If you're listening, Folk Art, how about a sponsorship? Alright. Neon pink, neon blue, and neon yellow to create a skin tone. I use neon colors because they're almost transparent already. But then I mix in some of the Folk Art floating medium. Folk Art, hear that? To get it really transparent. And that's mostly what I glaze with. For highlights, I mix in a little white, sometimes a little more plain, not neon, like red or blue or maybe a little yellow, and viola. It's glazed. Let's get to the Lich himself, by the way. There is a story to go along with this painting. If you'd like to hear it, let me know in the comments. I couldn't squeeze it into this episode because it was already running pretty long with all the faces. All the wrinkly, disgusting little faces. This little guy, he's the one that I said earlier you'll see that I changed something. He was the first one that I started painting, and what I had to do essentially was go back, scrub over everything down to the lighter color underneath, and then paint it all dark again. So speaking of the late 80s and early 90s toys, it didn't occur to me until I got the skull almost fully painted that it was a bit Skeletor-esque. But I like the way it looks, so I'm not going to worry about it. Speaking of Skeletor, how did he pronounce M's? He didn't have any lips. It was always, He-Man, He-Man. Should have been, He-Man, He-Man. Alright, anyway. I'm always looking for different ways to add something unusual to a face, and I thought this kind of knot hole in a tree looking thing for his eye kind of fit nicely. And ooh, he's got a case of pink eye. Bad case of pink eye. And it's time to sign it. I did not film the painting of the hood, but it was a lot more of the same thing. Trust me. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you liked this, if you found it helpful or entertaining, share it with a friend, subscribe, leave a comment if you have a question, or want to say howdy do. Go ahead and leave it in the comments. And hit the bell too if you want to see my videos as soon as they come out, because I try to get one done every week. I was a little late on this one. Like I said, I'll try to get 2 done sometime in the future. And thank you very much. It really does mean a lot to me for everyone who keeps coming back and watching these. And here's the finished piece. Have a great week.